the Epstein files, tons of developments today alone.
Yep.
We'll jump into what James Comer said, and then I'll backfill you on some of the developments today. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said former President William Jefferson Clinton is the committee's prime suspect in its Epstein probe, citing reports that Clinton was a frequent visitor to Epstein's private island. Guys, I know that we continue to get, it almost feels like stimulus overload when it comes to Epstein. Like there's so much information while also not giving you any new information that you then start to become confused as to what you previously were told. I never heard that Bill Clinton went to Epstein's island, ever. I heard he was on the jets. I heard that Epstein went to the White House. We had Mark Epstein here, and I don't remember ever hearing that Bill Clinton went to the island until a few weeks ago when Trump said it 2 or 3 times, and now James Comer. Do you guys remember hearing Clinton visited the island?
I don't remember visiting the island, but Rob, when a president of the United States, either X or whatever, you have to have Secret Service detail is on you 24/7, no matter what. You're in the bathroom, they're there. It doesn't make sense. When he traveled on the Lolita Express, Secret Service was excluded from flying on the plane with them. Do you know what that means? That's not protocol.
Okay, so I checked that once on ChatGPT, and it
says
came back
unsubstantiated.
That's so I
Unsubstantiated.
do you remember where you heard that from?
I remember hearing, but if I was like from somebody that was on the plane. No, but Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
I believe it was Kevin Spacey. If you want to look, Connor, if you can, go on X or whatever interview. It was Kevin Spacey, I think, with Piers Morgan, where he's saying, I was on the plane, mind you, I wasn't doing anything with young girls because we all know what Kevin Spacey's taste is. But you can't deny the fact that Epstein visited the White House multiple times. I want to say 11 times, Rob. And 7 of those times, he was brought on by Mark Middleton, who was an advisor to Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
That guy who signed on Epstein. By the way, what is he doing? Philanthropy conversations with Bill Clinton? We all know what the deal is. And then the Mark Middleton. Go ahead.
Sorry, I think I just found it. It's from a roll call from 2016. It says the logs showed that Clinton took at least 26 flights, not 11 as first believed, aboard financier Jeffrey Epstein's Boeing 7 during 2001 to 2003. The first 2 years he was in office. The former president took at least 5 of those flights without his Secret Service detail.
Okay.
FoxNews.com reported.
Wonderful. Now, thank you for fact checking. It's important to provide that.
While president.
While president of the United States.
All right, okay.
Whoa. Wait, no, but the dates you said were 2000 to 2003. Clinton was out of office 2000.
Well, first of all, I don't know that they lose Secret Service detail when they're out of office?
Never.
Oh, January of 2020. January 2001 is when Bush went into office. So you're right. That covers the time. And okay, go ahead.
And Rob, not to cut you off. Sorry. So it's undeniable that they were close. There's photos of him getting massaged. Virginia Goofy, with all the stuff that they talk about, Prince Andrew and seeing him and doing all this stuff. It's undeniable. And then the guys, how many? It boggles my mind that suicide. The word suicide gets put into. Every time that there's a problem with the Clintons or pedophilia or something, suicide is always the cause of death because these people can't take it anymore. Like Mark Middleton, the guy that signed him on,
Is he the one who hung from a tree and shot himself with a
hanged
shotgun?
himself with a cord in front of a tree and then shotgunned himself to death, and they couldn't find the shotgun.
On the
and it
chest.
was ruled a suicide. And then apparently they found the gun, but it was really, really far away. How many more times? Like, here's my question, and I'm because this is what I've been struggling with. Is anybody ever going to be actually held accountable? Because every week, and mind you, and I'll give you guys the floor. Hillary Clinton comes out and she's like, if Trump does this with Zelensky and everything, I'll recommend the Peace Prize. Okay, Michael Cohen, who obviously knows who's in charge and who's in charge of DOJ. I never saw Trump with anything. He's kissing Trump's ass. And anything that comes about this shit, everybody all of a sudden now is kissing ass because everybody's name is insinuated or documented in all this thing. When it comes to Bill Clinton, he's the one. Bill Barr, all these names are coming up that all know the situation, but now they're all backtracking. He's the main guy. This all starts with Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, the two Bills. Am I losing my mind?
No, and it's interesting that you talk about the people that are related to Clinton mysteriously dying or dying under weird circumstances. There's a list of, guess how many people connected directly to Jeffrey Epstein died in some type of weird scenario or may have killed themselves.
Bill and Jeff, or just
Jeffrey Epstein alone,
including him.
There was an article that was written.
A lot of people. Come on, Rob.
There was but is that the Anthony Weiner argument?
No, but that
was literally Anthony Weiner's argument. Was that of course that 50
70
people that were connected to them died. They know a lot of people that are what? They know a lot of people that are suicidal.
No, let's just say you know everybody. Like you know everybody, and people die. And so
by the way,
it's good.
Not to cut you off. You know what Weiner said yesterday on the podcast? He goes, "I don't think I should have been in jail for what I did. It happens all the time, anyway." But that's all different.
So there's a national.
Wait, bring this up just so that nobody gets sued for defamation. You can Control F to find the section of this article where it says
roll call.
Roll call. This is from 2016, so it hasn't been memory hold yet. Because Rob, you're going to ChatGPT now, and I tell you that there are active forces trying to dilute that information that Clinton flew without Secret Service.
Yeah.
So this is the link. This is the article.
This is the report that it
says he flew without Secret
Service. But what your question is?
So
how many people?
How many people directly connected to Jeffrey Epstein do you believe died on excluding Jeffrey? Let's take Jeffrey out of this.
Because that's
outside of Epstein. How many people were directly connected to Epstein that died under mysterious circumstances?
15.
78.
56.
Okay, you're the closest. Price is Right rules without going over. You said how many?
17.
17. The total is 21. 21 people. But how many people? I know one person, two people in my life that have committed suicide.
One.
Two.
I know one.
So I know two people that have committed suicide and none that have died under mysterious circumstances.
None.
Combined, how many people do you know that have killed themselves or died under mysterious
personally
circumstances?
That I would have the numbers of, know their addresses of, have met in real life. I know a few.
Under 10?
I would say under. I don't.
So is it fair to say that
10.
at this table combined, the four of us know less people than one person knows of people who have killed themselves?
This Steelman is going to be Epstein is operating in a field of entertainment, business, and whatever. High stress, high drugs. People do stupid things, take their own lives, and they knew lots of people. How many people do I know in life? Maybe 1,000.
Epstein victim after Epstein victim, ex-butlers, high-profile attorneys that represented him, criminal defense attorneys, MIT pioneers that were named as alleged abusers by Virginia Giuffre, Miami pimps, former detectives within the NYPD who investigated Epstein. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Hollywood producer questioned by FBI
Giuffre
about Epstein connections. Mark Middleton is even listed in that. So there is a little bit of that Venn diagram in the middle. It's like pedophiles here, pedophiles here. They overlap over Epstein and Clinton.
It was Bongino also who frequently talked about his insiders saying he was on a plane with Clinton. They were doing stuff that was dirty, and he never wanted to fly with Clinton again. There was a bed in the back of the plane.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, that's where he was photoed with Ghislaine Maxwell. But bro, Bill Gates' wife divorced him, and she said one of the main reasons was her husband's relationship with that guy because he was abhorrent when she met him, and he was evil personified. For an educated, sane woman to say that I divorced a multi-billionaire because his friend was evil, like evil. What would make her say that? What would make her say that this guy was evil? Because, guess what? I bust balls. Me and Jake have an unrunning joke where I call these people demons. Okay, I'm serious for a lot of it, but at the end of the day, I'm being facetious. For her to say, Rob, I could not face my husband because what he was doing with this guy says everything I need to know. And then all the other stuff. But the real question that we have to ask is, how do they keep at the highest levels, how do you keep it from even the president of the United States, the sitting president, after everything Bongino said, after everything Kash Patel said, after everything that Pam Bondi, who weirdly worked in Florida after the whole thing and didn't pursue anything on Epstein, how do they keep it from anybody getting arrested? Explain that to me. How? Well, explain it to me.
I mean,
anybody?
I've been reading a lot about Clinton this week. And not everything. I mean, he's an animal. I'm sorry. He was.
Do you know what Juanita Broderick said that he did to her? Juanita Broderick, look, Rob, Juanita Broderick, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that said that in a hotel room, he got up on her and bit her lip and almost like put meat off of it. He's allegedly a sexual deviant. This guy is a disgusting.
And allegedly,
that's what I'm saying.
It's always been like that when he was running around as governor of Arkansas. They had to cover up all the girls he would get inside the.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, this doesn't surprise me, at least.
Well, we're going to hear what Comer has to say.
Yeah, Comer says that Epstein, the entire House Oversight Committee's investigation into Epstein focuses on Bill Clinton. What's interesting is I spoke with Nick Bryant. We're going to have Nick Bryant on the podcast in a few weeks from now. We're going to talk a lot about Epstein with him. When I talked to him, one of the things he said about Donald Trump was that Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein goes back decades, and everybody's been talking about the Epstein-Trump connection. But what Nick Bryant says, I asked him, I go, do you think Trump was aware of the underage involvement of young girls? And what Nick Bryant said to me was that Jeffrey Epstein wore it on his sleeve. There was no way to be involved in social circles with Jeffrey Epstein at that time and not know what he was up to. That being said, Bill Clinton was around Jeffrey Epstein for as long as we can track. The White House visits, 17 of them started back in 1993. The final communication sometime around 2000, right after the arrest of 2006. So if it applies that Donald Trump could not have known what Jeffrey Epstein was up to.
Could not have not known.
Because it could not have not known because he wore it on his sleeve. Then is it also possible that Bill Clinton must have known because he was around Jeffrey Epstein for the same time or the same amount of time from 93 until 2016? And do you think, as you're like, I'm not a pedophile. Let me state that very openly. I'm not into young kids. I got to think that if you're into that kind of thing, the compulsion as you continue to be allowed to get away with it, it just increases, right? Do you think Jeffrey Epstein was at the least amount of sex trafficking towards the later years before he got busted? Do you not think his activities?
Full-blown
That's what I'm saying. Like a hormonal teenager just trying to get off on young kids.
And Rob, and when
that's going to get clipped and used against me.
Yeah, and Rob, and think about this, when you know you're untouchable. Think about this, bro. The pedophiles that are out right now and they're doing their things. By the way, Louis C.K. did a really, really edgy freaking joke where he goes, whatever, like he's like, it must be really good. He says that because he goes, these people know the consequences. You know you're going to get caught, and yet they still do it. Could you imagine knowing, bro, I'm untouchable. I work for intelligence, and you do whatever, and then everybody behind you. But I think it got so out of hand, and because think about it, bro, you can only keep so many people quiet at one time. That's why they had to go in and suicide him. Or, bro, I just saw a crazy video on YouTube how this guy pieced together stuff that even the face didn't look like him. And anyway,
Mark Epstein said that in our interview. Remember, he talked about the hair being grown on Jeffrey Epstein and how it wouldn't have been possible for the hair to grow that quickly after he died.
And that's a whole different conversation.
He might be alive.
For allegedly, and Juanita Broderick publicly alleged that Bill Clinton raped her in a Little Rock, Arkansas hotel room in 1978. Told her to meet in the hotel to discuss work. Inside, forced himself on her, violently raped her, and bit her lips so hard that it was swelling and it was bruising. That's what she claimed to be. And remember, Democrats always say believe all women, except when they're accusing Democrats of doing the same shit.
Here's James Comer talking about the focus of the House Oversight Committee's investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and how Bill Clinton plays into it.
I just want to ask you one question, Mr. Chairman. The American people want to know what happened on Epstein Island. I'm not going to drop this topic. You've subpoenaed Bill Clinton. He's going to fight you tooth and nail. With the best lawyers in the country in some cases. Do you think Bill Clinton ever actually testifies? I think his date is, what, October 12th?
No. Yes. I think we have a very good chance at this. I've never lost a subpoena battle. I've been chairman of that committee for a year and a half. This is the most challenging subpoena I've ever issued. But what makes this subpoena different is that the Democrats voted with Republicans. This is a bipartisan, congressionally approved subpoena. And I think that will hold a lot of weight in court. And you're absolutely right. He's going to have the best lawyers in America fighting us tooth and toenail on this. But the fact that this was voted on by Republicans and Democrats, because we're hearing from our constituents, everybody in America wants to know what went on at Epstein Island. And we've all heard reports that Bill Clinton was a frequent visitor there. So he's a prime suspect to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee. So hopefully we'll win that court battle with that subpoena and see President Clinton in October.
Okay.
I hope so.
You went there. Okay, ready for this? Subpoena, this, that. You were there. And what? Now prove, where's the girls? Where's the boys? Where's the whatever? Prove it, bro. This is such a BS. And again, Comer and all these guys, like, this is such a BS dog and pony show just to be like, hey guys, we're writing a letter. We're gonna subpoena. You think who's the guy? Who's the older guy that right now has dementia?
Robert Mueller, and we'll get to that in a second.
Go.
But yeah, go ahead.
No,
what were you saying?
Robbie, let's be honest with each other and be honest with the audience. Nothing is ever going to come out of this. Nothing. Period.
That is mildly defeatist. Something is already coming out of it more than 2 months ago when people were saying nothing is going to come out about this.
Well, because they had to dangle something and go, oh, we're going to come and bring them in front of the House committee to say something. And then what? By the way, Is it a positive? Like, Bill Clinton doesn't have to go in there.
No,
he can plead the fifth.
Well, he can plead the fifth. He can also try to defy the subpoena, except they've gone after Bannon and Navarro for defying a congressional subpoena.
Quickly to that, Comer noted that this has been his toughest subpoena to issue yet, but he highlighted that both Democrats and Republicans voted in favor of the subpoenas, making them a bipartisan issue, and he argues will make it more likely to withstand court challenges.
Well, also to highlight when people were saying at the beginning Trump is doing this as a deliberate troll to get the Democrats to say we want the Epstein files, and now that they have said we want the Epstein files, how will they be able to object to Clinton testifying? I don't think they made this mistake on purpose. I think it was a botched rollout, and they're doing the best with it that they can now, and they're responding to pressure from Trump's base. But that argument is all the more valid now. They've been clamoring. You had Ro Khanna with his bipartisan bill to release the Epstein documents. Who the hell is going to be able to now say Clinton should not testify? And just to highlight one thing, if Clinton went to the island and we were told that there was video footage on the island, but not the footage that we wanted, according to Kash Patel on Rogan.
Yeah.
There's footage of Clinton on Epstein Island. They have it. There were cameras everywhere. Yep. If he went to the island, there's footage of him there. Now we get to see that footage.
And we know that for if you missed today's interview with Michael Wolff, Patrick interviewed Michael Wolff, and during that conversation, the photo that we have all seen of Bill Clinton in the blue dress, which is a nod to the Monica Lewinsky, because he
I never even put that together.
He ejaculated on her blue dress, so it's Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress, wearing high heels. Michael Wolff, for the first time that I've ever heard, confirmed that is in fact a real photo that was hanging inside of Epstein's apartment. I know that we've always heard it and we've seen photos that may or may not, but this is the first time I've ever heard somebody that's been inside of the apartment confirm the existence and reality of that photo itself. Here's some headlines to your point, Vinny. We keep hearing information about Epstein. It keeps coming out, yet we're not getting any answers. These are all the headlines from this morning. Department of Justice, New York Post, Department of Justice to start handing over Jeffrey Epstein files to Congress. According to the New York Post, the Justice Department has agreed to provide Jeffrey Epstein-related files to the House Oversight Committee, starting with the first batch soon, including records on Epstein, Maxwell, and communications with the Biden administration with redactions to protect victims. Here's James Comer. What's this clip, Connor? This is James Comer, his statement on the files, the Epstein files themselves.
We're having really good conversations. You have to understand you can imagine how many documents there are. I think that we're going to have I think we'll receive the documents very soon. They're compiling everything together. I think we're working together in a good faith effort, and everything's coming along. I expect to receive the documents very, very soon.
And you know that's an older clip. That could not have happened today because that says MSNBC reports at the bottom. MS now.
As if people aren't going to remember all the nonsense BS that MSNBC crappy.
This also came out this morning. Ex-Trump investigator Robert Mueller, this is to your point, 81, gets out of Epstein testimony after shocking new health issues revealed.
He's dementia.
According to the Daily Mail this morning, former special counsel Robert Mueller was excused from testifying due to health issues, including residing in a memory care facility with signs of cognitive decline noted during his 2019 congressional testimony.
Not Joe Biden. Not that type of cognitive decline. This is the real deal, right?
This is, Joe Biden also had real deal cognitive decline.
Yeah, but they've lied about it.
This is Paul, I don't know who Paul Sperry is, but this is according to Paul Sperry on Twitter. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Robert Mueller to appear for September 2nd deposition to provide details from an FBI investigation of Jeffrey Epstein from decades ago. Even though sources tell me Mueller has been living in a memory care facility for the past few years, but that was August 5th, so that's a little bit outdated. Let's go to the next slide that you have. I believe there's one more headline that came today, and that's Bill Barr says Trump never intervened in Epstein case. No evidence of crime. That according to Bill Barr's testimony yesterday on Capitol Hill in a closed-door deposition. He said that Trump never intervened in Epstein's case, offered no direction, and committed no related crimes. Barr also affirmed his belief that Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, but this is also the guy that didn't go into the jail cell or see the crime scene and then remotely said, he killed himself, let's move on, before even getting to the jail.
Rob, is it struck any of you weird that ever since Elon mentioned Trump's name, all these other people now that know that they're under investigation for other matters, now they're all coming out and saying, hey, Trump isn't on it, which is covering their ass, and Trump, let's say, God forbid, Trump is on there. Who else? Hillary's kissing ass. Who's the other person? Michael Cohen. They're all like, no, Trump is not. No. Listening to Michael Wolff and hearing the relationship that he had with Epstein, bro, it's kind of Michael Wolff. I saw him on another podcast. He claimed, or he said somebody wrote in some book that Melania hooked up with Epstein a year before the relationship with Trump started.
Book. Yep.
That's in his book?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just striking me very, very odd that all these people now, because they know they're under investigation for other. What?
Do you guys know who Bill Barr's father is?
He's a CIA
Donald Barr,
Donald
who was the
Barr.
school head of the Dalton
He
School.
wrote a book.
I'm just reading. It was called. I mean, I knew that I didn't want to
You
get
know what? It's the main theme. Go ahead.
Space Nations. No, Space Relations. And the plot of the book is Craig is the guy in the book, is depicted as an undisturbed by Lady Morgan sadism. She's the alien. When he is ordered to sexually assault the enslaved teenager, he enjoys his participation in the act. This is from Wikipedia.
Guys.
That was also the guy that was running the Dalton School and then gave Jeffrey Epstein his first job.
Tell me that this is not all related, people, and that this is not a massive.
Viva, this guy, he's in the middle, like from the Iran-Contra all the way to the Roger Stone.
And who was involved in Iran-Contra?
This guy.
No. Also, Epstein is alleged to have had a role in brokering
in
deals.
the middle of everything. Everything.
He's a scumbag.
I've just been
said this-
blackpilled beyond recognition.
I said
right now.
this on the podcast a few weeks ago. I went to your point about Epstein's ties to the Iran-Contra scandal. Daryl Cooper sat down with Tucker Carlson. They do a deep dive, and what really is, if you've not watched it, go watch it, because what they do is, instead of pinpointing where Jeffrey Epstein was, they start pinpointing business associates that Jeffrey Epstein had at the time and what they were involved in. And since you can't account for years of Jeffrey Epstein's past, they know he worked at the Dalton School for 2 years in the 70s. Where are the other 8? He worked at Bear Stearns in the 80s for 4 years. Where are the other 6? He did work for Lex Wexner for a year or two in the 90s for Victoria's Secret and L Brands. Where are the other 8? So there's all of these years that are unaccounted for, but if you start tracking Jeffrey Epstein's business associates and what they were involved in at the time, Jeffrey Epstein's activities go all the way back to the 70s and 80s. It's not he was filming people in 2001, 3, 4, 5. This goes back decades.
Yeah, I had on Mike Benz, and we went through the exact same timeline and the correlate. Epstein's involvement, directly, indirectly, tangentially with the Iran-Contra scandal, and also business ventures. It's wild, but you have a father who writes a book about intergalactic pedophilia. I mean, it's totally
exactly
normal.
what it was. And me and Umberto have been having this conversation, guys, and it's a sad reality to accept. I mean, I'm not gonna stop talking about it because notice how they're like Henry Anton was like, oh, the numbers are down, and because you guys want us to stop talking about it. The only accountability that is going to take place is when these people die and they have to face God. That's the only comfort that I have, because when I see it, I feel like I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, bro, but there's a glass and the people on the other side are laughing and waving. And that's what this situation feels like, because it's not, by the way, just off your intuition and your gut, you know what's happening. When you see a Bill Clinton, you hear the story about Epstein, you hear all these freaking disgusting human beings, we know the deal. We know it. We can prove it. We can point the dots. But these people walk in between the raindrops. They don't get wet. They don't get wet because they know that they're protected. Just like just going back real quick to like a JFK assassination conspiracy. Do you understand the level of who knows? And if anything ever goes wrong, everybody has to die. That's how you do it. And with this Epstein thing, you don't think for a fact, Viva, that these people are like, all right, guys, this is our guy. This is what's going to happen. We have to have a plan just in case it goes to shit. He's going to die, and everything else is hearsay. That's how these people operate. Evil is at a different level, bro. That's why when you say you got to take your hat off to these people, they are brilliant at being evil. You got to take your hat off to these people. So there's going to be no justice. They're just bouncing around. Oh, we're here like monkeys connecting all these dots. Meanwhile, these guys are still hooking up with underage kids, and we're going to get to the story about the Israel guy. They can do whatever they want.
Well, now I'm putting another 2 and 2 things together.
Put 'em.
Bongino, a couple of weeks ago, in the wake of the Epstein debacle, might have been a month ago, said, the rumors were that he was going to leave the FBI out of discontent with Pam Bondi's handling of this after he and Kash Patel, in my view, were forced to parade around a narrative that neither of the two, in their heart of hearts, believed, though technically on paper it might have been true. Now they've named, what's-his-face, Deputy Director Bailey, to be the co-deputy director of the FBI. I'm wondering now, like, if they're not actually, if it's not in fact the case that Bongino might be leaving the FBI, because I don't know how often you have a co-director, and whether or not it has to do with the fact that they've made Kash Patel and Dan Bongino say things which at the time they had to have known all of this at the time.
For sure.
They had to have known all of this, what we're now being disclosed, which is there's nothing more to see about the Epstein suicide. He killed himself, that's it, nothing more, no clients. And now they're subpoenaing Bill Clinton? Those two statements within 3 months don't make any sense.
No.
And so
I don't know about that, and I don't like. Let me explain something to you. He did not kill himself. Let's just put that to bed, okay? The relationship with Bill Clinton is undeniable. You cannot deny it, okay? And by the way, where are the victims?
I mean,
where are the girls or the young boys that these guys were hooking up with and probably killing, bro? Because dead men tell no tales. You guys think that Bill Clinton or any of these people were allegedly banging these underage kids and they're just gonna let them go? Are you crazy? After you see their face? Yeah, go back into society. Go back to your country of origin. Are you guys freaking bananas? These people are all bye-bye. The only ones that are alive right now, they think that they're kooks. Virginia Giuffre's the only one. She was like, guys, I'm not gonna kill myself. She kills herself. She gets hit by a freaking bus, no police report, no nothing, and she's like, I think I have 4 days to live. And then she dies. Come on, man. How much more lying to ourselves do we have to do? Honestly, it's unbelievable at this point. It's stupid. You know what the hell happened. We all know what you get it. Pedophiles are the most protected people. The fact that they're even trying to change the name to MAPS. I'm a minor attracted person. Okay, then you're good. Put him behind.
Intergalactic slave rape. Pedophile rape.
Yeah. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.